Anyway, I'm going to go into lead paint. Now, I'm not going to have to re-standardize or anything. I didn't shut the instrument off, okay? I'm just booting up a different software. So it didn't make me go through that sequence again. Only when you shut the instrument off. Okay? Now, you'll see here that it's ready to go, and the action level is already preset to 1 milligram per square centimeter, which is the HUD level that you must meet. Okay? I guess 0.9 safe. Anybody know why it's 1, the level? Because when they establish that, that's the best any instrument can do at that point in time. We can get at least an order of magnitude or better below that, but they still haven't changed it. But anyway, we do have a HUD PCS, performance characteristic sheet, that will talk about how you use this instrument in that way. Now, what you do when you get into the lead paint, even though we did a standardization, you know, with the soil, you check a known standard, say, okay, it's reading inspect, you know, that's fine. But in the lead paint, you actually have to test another NIST standard, a paint standard, okay? So, when you're looking at this, you go to File, and you go to Calibration Check, and it wants you now to put the window right over that sample and then tap the OK. So you need 2 hands for this one. And now it's going to shoot that. Okay, so that's well within spec, that 1.09. It's 1.04, so that's good. So it's ready to go. Okay? Now, we'll go over to the options, and there's the setup. Not as many things on this one. And you have a couple of choices here. The test end condition, you can either do inspection or fixed time. And you set a time of whatever you want, 30 seconds is the default. But the difference in those two, inspection is the instrument will make up its mind when it's either a positive or negative and shut the test off on its own. So how long it runs depends, okay? Fixed time means the operator will decide when they feel he has an adequate test, pulls the trigger and stops the test, okay? Or lets it run 30 seconds, it depends. So, you know, the operator will make up their mind there what they want to do. But you can adjust that time. This is where if you can change the action level. If you're working in a community where maybe they've toughened the HUD standards and say, well, we're using 0.7, not 1.0, you can change it. So it's just telling you what's positive and negative. Okay? So now we'll just take a quick lead paint sample. So do I need to test any longer? No. Nailed it, okay. Same with this one.
Is there a limit to how many layers of paint you can test through some of these old houses?
No, we can get deeply buried lead. I mean, that's why people stay on the fixed time for the older places, you know. So there's a negative I can stop. So, you know, that'll get through, but it's all substrate independent. You can move from drywall to wood to brick, you know, to plaster, it doesn't care. Okay, it's all substrate independent. So, anyway, that's, I just wanted to show you the lead paint mode. So it just comes up and tells you positive or negative and so on. No, I'll show you something. This is pretty neat. You can figure out in the lead paint. I'm going to go back to the previous where we had a positive. I'll bring up that spectrum again. Same peaks, isn't it? Not going to change. Doesn't matter if it's in soil or paint. Still lead. Now, I'm going to get rid of move the lines over so they're out of the way. Notice that the alpha peak is higher than the beta peak, or as high or a little higher. What's that tell you? It tells you that the lead is virtually on the surface, or close to it. If the beta peak starts getting higher than the alpha peak, the lead's more and more buried. So it's where you can make, it doesn't count layers of paint, it doesn't know that, but you can kind of make an educated guess that your lead is coming from down under quite a few layers of paint if the beta peak's higher. Now why does that occur? Well, the alpha peak is at 10.5 keV of energy. The beta peak is 12.6. They're stronger X-rays. The beta peak comes through more layers of paint than the alpha does. So that's why if the alpha peaks is higher, it's pretty much it's not coming through much, if any. And as they start changing, there's more and more non-lead over top of the lead paint. Okay? That's why the spectrum comes in handy, one good reason. Okay. Going to go back to the main menu. Thought we were done. The industrial lead paint, don't ever use that. I don't know why we even put it on the instruments. It makes me mad. Stick with the regular HUD lead paint. The industrial one is one we came out with before we had a PCS, because sometimes safety personnel in like a petrochemical plant, they'll have one of our instruments to test metal alloys for the inspection crew or the maintenance crew, and then the safety people want to check lead paint, so we put it on an industrial, and it doesn't really follow the HUD. It's just lead paint for industrial purposes. Don't worry about it. The lead paint mode will work just as well.